Covering news that matters. Fox 23 News at 5:30 starts right now.
Thanks so much for joining us at 5:30. I'm Shay Rozzi.
And I'm Nathan Thompson. For more than a decade, Tulsa's investigative reporter Janet Clark has been bringing us stories from the families who live on what the EPA calls a priority Superfund site in Bristow.
Old refineries operated there decades ago and left toxic waste behind. And years later, families built homes and a church on that land.
One family who's lived on the site for 20 years thinks living there not only made them sick, but may have had something to do with a loved one's death.
Here's Jana's latest Fox 23 investigation.
I'll take you down and around.
Glenn Jones showed me his parents' land in Bristow.
And it was really pretty out here.
Yeah. Glenn Sr. and Pat Jones moved here from California 2 decades ago. They bought this home with 30 acres.
This was his dream place.
Glenn Sr. liked to fish.
And he had the fishing over here.
He put in a couple of ponds and stocked them.
That was his dream.
Pat told me buying this home was her dream.
To have a beautiful house for the rest of our lives.
I'd help Dad around the place, brush hog. There was some pipes. We didn't exactly know what they was. Most of them was on this side.
Glenn showed me where he and his dad saw old pipes in the ground.
So were there like a bunch of pipes, or were there?
Oh yeah, they're all through here, ma'am.
When you started seeing those pipes, what did you think?
First, I didn't know. We got a chain, I hooked it to the tractor, and then we pulled what we could out. And if it didn't pull all the way out, we'd take hacksaw and cut it off.
Glenn says his dad found scrappers to haul away the pipes they pulled out of the ground.
They took it to the scrap yard and they come back. The scrap yard wouldn't even take it because the radiation was off the charts.
Glenn pointed out pipes that are still on the land today. You can see some sticking out of the ground.
Oh, look right here. Here's another big pipe.
Oh, yeah.
Right in front of us.
They stretch across the nearby creek bed.
When your parents moved here, did they have any idea what was here before they moved in?
Oh, no.
Nobody told you?
No.
I've shown you these engineer drawings of the Lorraine oil refinery that closed in the 1930s. A second refinery, Wilcox, bought the land but left in 1963. They left toxic waste behind. Starting in the 80s, people built homes and this church right on top of it. The EPA named it a priority Superfund site in 2013. The Jones family lives at the end of the road where a tank farm used to be.
What does the EPA and DEQ, what are the environmental agencies, what have they told you all about living here?
They told us don't wear your shoes from outside, don't, because the dust, don't breathe the dust.
They seen we had 2 ponds out there. They said, well, you can't eat the fish out of there. And we had a garden out there, and they said, you can't even eat the vegetables out there.
This is where they get their water.
Right.
Glenn showed me the well in the front yard that his family uses for drinking water.
They tell us it's safe to drink the water.
What do the environmental agencies tell you about whether it's safe to live here?
If it wasn't safe to live here, they would have us move, right?
The EPA has spent nearly $8 million on testing and cleanup on this site. They even worked on the Jones family's yard.
That's where one of the tanks was sitting.
Glenn says he's seen gunk in the ground.
There was just that black stuff. It's black, kind of tarry looking.
I've shown you the toxic sludge I found, like this, in other people's yards.
I started hearing about cancers, leukemia.
Carla Painter started getting sick. Her backyard was just all with oil goosing out of it. You couldn't even walk in it.
Carla lived 2 doors down.
I've just had all kinds of problems.
She told me about the contamination almost a decade ago.
Nobody wanted to listen to us.
You were trying to tell everybody what?
That it was contaminated and that wasn't good out there.
Glenn says he tried to get his dad to move.
He didn't want to face it at first. I know he did. And he didn't even want to hear that there was something wrong here. He didn't want to give this place up.
Glenn says his family started getting sick. His dad, his mom, and their granddaughter Monica, who grew up here, all had to have their gallbladders removed. And both his parents had kidney failure. Then Monica got cancer.
Why did my granddaughter at 30 years old get cancer? She lived here all her life.
Glenn says he lived here for a while, too.
My son, when he stayed here, he would get bloody noses. real bad.
He said one of his dogs got knots all over him.
He was having kidney failure and liver failure.
Then his other dog ended up dying.
They were drinking the water out of the ponds.
Glenn said his mom started having seizures, and one put her in the hospital.
I passed out, went into a coma, and I was in a coma in the hospital for a month and a half.
They had her on life support, feeding her through her neck.
Did they say why?
They never could figure out why.
Pat told me her husband started getting strange spots on his skin. You can see them on his face in this video.
He was ate up with mold, black, brown spots. It was in his hair. I mean, just all over his body.
Pat said he had some of the spots removed because they were cancerous.
He didn't have that when we moved here.
It started after you moved here?
Yeah.
Then Glenn Sr. was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Why do you think your dad got cancer?
It was from this place. How much more sickness in your family do you have to have? You get hit in the face and get hit in the face after a while with something like that, and it's all pointing to here.
After battling cancer for 5 years, Glenn Sr. died.
I believe he was taken from us before his time.
I think it's from all the chemicals that's in the ground and the water.
At the last Superfund meeting, I brought up people's concerns to the Environmental Protection Agency.
I've been to a lot of these meetings, and what I've heard from people just over and over again, they have questions about their health and their health concerns.
That exposure, it would have to have a largely significant impact, would have to be extremely chronic. So for a long period of time.
The Oklahoma DEQ told me the same thing in 2023.
In order for humans to be adversely affected, they have to be exposed to this contamination for long periods of time. By long, I mean 40 plus years.
Do you feel like living on this Superfund site is what gave him cancer?
Yes.
You're convinced?
I am, yes. There's too many people that are dying from cancer here.
Dad finally admitted that there was something wrong out here. He knew there was a problem.
Somebody come up and asked him, "Are you glad you moved to Oklahoma?" He said, "No. If I knew what I know now, I would never move there."
So he regretted it?
Yes.
It took a long time for the Jones family to agree to an interview with me. I asked them years ago if they wanted to talk to me about the Superfund site. They weren't ready until now.
Why did you want to talk to me now?
It's mainly because I don't want to see his death go in vain, and that's the reason I'm here, because I know this is what my dad would want, is to help everybody over here. Somebody needs to clean it up where it isn't affecting people that are innocent. It's deceiving.
You feel deceived?
I feel that my mom and dad was lied to.
What do you think about the fact that you bought this place and it's on a Superfund site?
To me, I paid a heavy price for it. And I don't want nobody else pay that price.
This is the last video we have of Glenn Sr. when he came with Pat to a Superfund meeting in November of 2023.
My husband has cancer. Your husband had cancer. Other neighbors has cancer down through there. When is this going to stop, and when is this all going to be cleaned up and straightened up? I begged all the big shots that was there to please help these people. My husband was right there beside me at that time. I can't have him beside me now. He's out there in the graveyard. So please, if you can help other people, please do it. That's all I ask.
In Bristow, covering news that matters, Jana Clark, Fox 23 News.
Absolutely heartbreaking story. Jana asked the EPA for an interview to find out what's next in the cleanup process. She also asked for an interview with a federal agency called Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, or ATSDR. That agency has been telling people in Bristow for years it will do a health assessment of people who lived on or near the Superfund site. Jana is waiting to hear back from both of those agencies.
Do you have a tip or issue that you think Jana Clark should investigate? Let us know. Email FOX23 Investigates at fox23.com or call 918-388-5354 or search Fox 23 Jana Clark on Facebook.